The darksea update is being worked on very relentlessly by V6 and his team, and here's just basically how I think the darksea update will work in Arcane Odyssey. So let's begin. We have to talk about the 6 stages of the darksea. So the darksea right now is, as you can see, it is the outer areas of the bronze sea. Right now it's like this. Basically, once the darksea update comes, there will be 6 stages to it. So if I can mark those 6 stages, what they will work as is basically the barrier around the first one. So you can say that this in the blue is the first stage. The first stage of the darksea has no insanity, and caravels and catches, which are completely stock, can go through it. So you don't need any upgrades or anything to go through these to the first stage, because it's not very dangerous because there's no insanity. This is the most weakest stage, and so there will be less loot and less enemies, and there will be islands, but there will be small islands, and we'll explain more about islands later. But let's then talk about the next stages. The second stage is where you get your first bit of insanity. The second stage, you will need a slightly upgraded brig to work, to not get damaged by the darksea. So you need a slightly upgraded brig, or you need fully upgraded catches or caravels in order to not get damaged in the second stage. Then we have the third stage. The third stage, well, it's much more difficult, and you got insanity 2, and you need fully upgraded ships, or the best of the best, and you need basically fully upgraded brigs at this point to then survive past this. And things start to get a bit interesting once we're at stage 4. Stage 4 is considered the far reaches of the darksea. What do I mean by the far reaches? The far reaches are basically the ends of the darksea, and this is when things start to get a bit crazy. From stage 4, you get insanity 3. Stage 5, you get insanity 4, and stage 6, you get insanity 5, which can kill you. And a fair note, it takes about 5 minutes to go through each single stage with a fully upgraded speed brig. So each of these layers, you can say, takes 5 minutes to go through, and that's 5 minutes to go through once. So you can imagine that if you're going to the stage 6, let's say you're going to the 6th stage, it would take you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 or 30 minutes to go there, and then another 30 minutes or 25 minutes to come back. So you can imagine that the stage 6 adventures, they can take about an hour or even more, because it's the fastest ship of the brig. So you can imagine that not having the fastest ships, this will take even longer. It will take you way more time to go through each stage, and that's just already cool enough. That's the first thing that's really cool. And yeah, that's so if you have the fastest brig, it'll take 5 minutes to go through each stage, and that's just the fastest ship. So it's insane. The next thing I want to talk about, that's the 6 stages of darksea explained. Basically, that's how it works. Next thing I want to talk about is, well, the weather. The weather in the darksea is going to be very, very insane. Basically, whirlpools, as you can see in this photo from the trailer, the teaser trailer, whirlpools are ginormous. What do you mean by ginormous? They can spawn almost twice the size of a normal whirlpool, and a tier 5 whirlpool is already big. Imagine that, but twice as big. You can understandably be scared of that because it is ginormous. And as you can see in this photo, that whirlpool is that's not even half of the whirlpool. it's like a quarter of the whirlpool and it's already filling up half of the screen. So you can imagine how scary it can be. Same goes for waves. They can literally cover up the whole ship, and same for tornadoes. There will be tornadoes in the game, like in the dark sea. They're much more common. And another interesting thing is that lightning is also different in the dark sea. There's different types of lightning. There's red lightning, there's purple lightning, and there's underwater lightning, which I don't have a photo of, but there's underwater lightning, which is also insane. And another thing to note is that sometimes that whirlpools, waves, and tornadoes can be imbued with magic. What does that mean? Basically, you can get hit by a magma whirlpool, or a light whirlpool which blinds you, or a wind whirlpool which will knock you back. Well, not a wind whirlpool, a wind wave will knock you back. And from that itself, that already sounds insane. There's also rain, and there's magic imbued rain, which is scary. That means you take DOT just standing in the area, which is gonna be quite a nuisance. And yeah, it's insane. Like, weather in the dark sea is going to be a very, very big problem. Next thing I want to talk about is a new feature, which is going to be the darksea compass. Let me just draw a compass here. Wait. So the darksea compass is going to be an item that spawns inside of chests that you can get. It's like unlocks beside the normal compass that we have in the game, which is the red compass, which points towards north and such. It'll like add to your UI, which is cool. And what this does is this basically points towards the sea. Like, it points towards the bronze sea, or the closest sea cluster there is. What that means is basically, let's say you are here. Let's say you're here. What will happen is that your normal compass will not work here. So your normal compass will just be like moving around and around, like it won't know where to go. And if you've lost your direction, well, you're going to be lost in the dark sea. And the purple compass, or the darksea compass, is going to point towards the nearest sea cluster. So it'll point in this sense, it'll point towards this way, because that way is the closest sea cluster, which is the bronze sea. And I think this is a really nice feature, because you can easily get dark, like you can easily lose yourself in the dark sea. So I think it's a great feature. And yeah, I think it's a really cool way. So it won't like point towards Ravenna or anything. It will like just point towards like where the closest point is. So if you go in this place, it'll point towards like that, and so on and so forth. Your normal compass will not work in the dark sea, so that's scary. And another thing is that you won't have a mark indicator, like a map indicator in dark sea. So here in the normal map, you can see that, let's say you're standing right there. Right, you can see where you're standing in the map when you press your map. In the dark sea, if you go towards this way, your map will disappear. Like your player indicator will just disappear. Like, you won't have a player indicator in dark sea, which is good. I think that's great. So it allows you, it makes the dark sea compass very important. Next thing I want to talk about is the dark sea islands. Here we have a few of the islands shown from some photos I sent in the Discord, and these are interesting. So small islands spawn in every range of the dark sea. So they spawn from stage 1 to stage 6. Okay. Mega structures spawn in stage 2 and above. So mega structures spawn in this second stage and above. And those are they're like huge versions of like normal islands. I think they're going to be really cool, and they have their own loot. Like, they have their own loot tables and stuff like that. But moving on, then we also have procedural island generation. So usually, because of from the underwater the underwater ruins that we have in the game right now, that spawn around the place, they're like pre-made structures, and they're like, you can say that they're like small, like structures made that just spawn around randomly. And those are like basically the mega structures, and small islands are those type of structures. Procedural island generation is basically islands which are randomly made. So they're basically, how do you say, they're completely random. So they spawn like in 3 different sizes. They spawn in, how do you say, small, medium, and large. So you can guess that the small ones will spawn in the first few stages, the first 3 stages, or the first stage. Medium will spawn in second and above. First will spawn in all rings, obviously. Medium will spawn in second and above, and the large one will spawn in third stage and above, I think. I don't know, but it could be like that. And they have, well, darksea enemies, which it's going to be very interesting how they're going to work. Basically, every island is going to have, I think, a darksea enemy, and like they drop some really, really cool stuff. It has not been shown in here, but darksea enemies are apparently very, very strong. They're like, because they've been in a darksea for so long, they're much stronger, they're much more powerful than normal enemies, so we have to be very careful of them. Next thing that we have is, well, darksea enemy ships. And these aren't your normal ships. No, they are not. These ships are quite literally bigger, stronger, and tanky. What do I mean by all of that? They're literally in size. They are bigger in size, even bigger than the normal ship size. That's already scary enough. They have more HP and they do more damage. So you can expect to be very scared when you run into one of them. And I don't think there will be a sailboat bigger than a brig. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it can. Theoretically, it can happen. I think there may be a cap on how big it is, and also the size of them actually depends on which stage they're in. So there will be 6 stages. So stage 1, darksea ship; stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, and stage 6, and so on. So basically, the further out you go, the bigger they get. So you really need to be careful. And also, they have, the darksea enemies. They drop items, so that's cool. That's really nice. And another thing is about the loot. Right now I don't have the loot things or anything listed here. So loot is going to be very interesting in the darksea. What do I mean by that? Loot can have a darksea enchant when it's been brought from the darksea. So if you fought enemies in the darksea, basically what will happen is they have a chance of dropping a darksea enchanted item. And these items have different stats, they have different looks, and they give insanity when worn. So this is just a placeholder, like I'm just theoretically making it, but I'm really looking forward to is the look of them. What I think they might have is like purple or like different colors of like neon things written on them, or like darksea, just it like corrupted the armor, and so it made the armor be a bit neon looking, which I think would be really cool. It may be something else, but other than that, I think this is gonna add way more player customizability, like looks, builds, everything that you know about Arcane Odyssey right now will literally change because of this one single difference of the darksea enchant. So that's already super cool. Not only is there different loot, like from items and item enchant and such like that, there's also different fish. So fishes are literally going to be, well, they're literally going to be twice as big as the normal fish, literally, like that. Like they're literally going to be bigger, so they're going to be twice as big, they're going to be twice as expensive, and they're going to give twice as much hunger and status effects as well. So this is going to be really, really cool, and this will count towards the master angler title. So the master angler title is just getting harder and harder the more things and more fishes get added, so you might want to finish that right now. Another thing is there will be darksea catalyst and reagents from the darksea. So basically, potions are gonna have a whole new tier to them, and you can find these darksea catalysts and reagents on islands or like from chests and such like that, and it's gonna be insane. And you know, I think some of you may have spotted there's white eyes, and white eyes as well, also bigger in the darksea. And this is when I would like to introduce you guys to alpha white eyes. Yeah, alpha white eyes is literally just twice as big as, well, normal white eyes, so you have to be quite careful very careful of them. And not only that, there's also some new game mechanics from these islands as well. So time to time you'll actually find golden or silver cooking pots. So these cooking pots have a 1.5 times multiplier of of things that you can put in. So like, let's say you put in a 100 hunger meal inside this, you will get back 150, which is really cool. And they have a 3-time use, and same for the silver ones. I think it may be less, I'm not sure, but these are really cool. So these also have a 3-time use, or they may be even 1 time, I don't know, but this is really cool. And this is the same, it's not the same, but it's the same like system, like it's not 1.5, but it's the same system for even brewing pots. So there will be a golden brewing pot, which you can basically put your potions and get like way more stats, and the golden ones, and also, well, silver ones. There's even more mechanics that's being added to the darksea. So you will have a revive system. So the revive system, oh wow, this is a PNG, whatever. The revive system is going to be very interesting. Basically, if you're in a party of, let's say, 1 or 2 players, so let's say we have one person here, and this is you, and this is your party, so you will have 1 life per darksea expedition. What I mean by that is you can be revived once. So you can only be revived once by your party members, and if you died a second time, you die completely. And I think this is great. So you won't just, if you just get killed or like flung and just died, you have some chance of survival. And the revive thing is for like 1 minute, so you'll have a little indicator that, oh, I need a revive me, and it'll last for 1 minute. And if your teammates or your party members need to revive you in that 1 minute, which I think is awesome, then the next thing is basically if you die in the darksea, your ship just disappears. Like, it immediately despawns. So any type of loot that you had, it will not stay. So even if you die and then you send, let's say you send your ship from here, let's say you send your ship facing Ravenna, and then you reset, you won't see your ship arrive Ravenna. It'll just immediately despawn here, and all the loot, you will lose all the loot there. Another cool thing is that if you die in the darksea, it actually notifies the whole server that someone died in the darksea, which is cool. And also, like, other global messages appear differently when they're sent from the darksea, which is also a really cool thing. And like I said, with the giant white eyes, this is the same thing for every other shark. Basically, what do you call it? Giant version of poison jaws, or every other shark in the game. They have that, and they can have 2 times the HP, 2 times the size, 2 times the damage, and 2 times the drop chance. So you can try to farm white eye scale or poison tooth daggers in darksea much easier. I mean. And another thing is that fishing is going to be very rewarding. So like I said before, fishing is going to be, there's more types of fish, but there's also, you can get darksea enchanted items from fishing, and the chance of that is 10%, which is nice. Like basically every 10th items you get, it could be a darksea enchanted item. So fishing is going to be insane, and that's about it, really. So I'm just explaining the mechanics of the darksea, really. Overall, I'm very excited for the darksea. A lot of people are, and it's just gonna be insane. Like the game's, how do you say? Right now, the game's stats and everything is like, it's stuck at a point. The darksea is going to add a whole lot of PvE, a whole lot of grinding, and it's just gonna be insane. And yeah, so I'm really excited for the darksea. I hope you guys are also, and we're gonna do a lot of events, a lot of fun things in the darksea when it comes out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this explanation, and if you like, leave a comment and subscribe if you want to. So I'll see you guys in the next one. That's about it, really, in this video. I've basically explained everything, and there's more to come, and there's more stuff hidden. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.